Hello, everyone. It is Felicia Bender, the practical numerologist, and today's video is all about the challenge cycle. So, we're talking about the challenge cycle in numerology and most specifically in Pythagorean numerology. So, in this video, this is an introduction. So, you're going to learn. First of all, what is the challenge cycle? And second of all, how to calculate it. And third of all, how to also understand and calculate the timing for your cycles. Okay. And this is, I would encourage you to be sitting down and have your pen and paper in front of you because during the calculation, this is not hard math. There is no hard math in numerology. And yet, this very much similar to the pinnacle cycle calculation is just a little bit more involved. And it takes just a little bit of concentration, not that much, but a little bit. So I encourage you to do that and to make sure you do your calculations two or three times so that you make sure that you get those numbers correctly done correctly. All right. So let's just dig in and dive in. And what is the challenge cycle? It's kind of just what it sounds like. It's a cycle that shows you what you are being challenged with very specifically during a specific time in your life. So it is they are four cycles, and they can be all the same number. They can be all different numbers. They can be, two of one number and two of the other. Anyway, it'll all depend on your specific calculation that you get from your birth date. All right. And yet, overall, the challenge cycle consists of four cycles that can be seen as aligning with the pinnacles. If you are unsure what the pinnacles are, you can take a look at the channel, and on playlists, there is a playlist that is devoted specifically to pinnacles, to the pinnacle cycle. So if you want to know what that is where you can find out all about that. All right. So the challenges point to personal weaknesses, and they require that you overcome the challenge by learning the lesson that specific lesson brings to you, that specific challenge brings to you. Some numerologists, okay, I'm going to start talking a little bit about timing because, like everything in every ology, in everything, there's always different schools of thought, different ways of doing things, different ways of thinking about it. So I'm aware of two basic modes of thought around how to determine the timing. So Hans Dekos is who I will reference most directly here. If you look at his book, which I would encourage you to do if you are a numerology nerd, because I love his books. They're very direct. They're kind of the Bible of numerology to me in many ways. I've read every book under the sun about numerology, and yet his is a go-to for me. And with that said, I give him full credit for this. And he asserts that the timing for the challenges is actually a little more fluid than just being in alignment with the pinnacle cycle timing. All right. So he says that challenges are all present at birth. So they're like actors standing or waiting in the wings. I do love that theatrical reference because if you think about it, if you are born and there you are, know it or not, like it or not, you are the star of your own show. You really are. You're the main character in your life's play, in the production, right? Is it a comedy? Is it a tragedy? Is it a rom-com? What is it? What is the category? Anyway, you could go on and on. It's kind of a fun thing to think about, and truth be told. And yet, for our purposes, I'll dial it in. Okay, I'm going to dial it in. So the challenges are kind of like those characters that come and go from the stage at particular times. And yet I will be bringing up more than once that there is a main challenge. It is a character who is going to be there from start to finish. All right. That is the third challenge number. So the third challenge number is considered the main challenge, and it is going to be present. So it's a more consistent and persistent challenge throughout your life. Okay, so the first challenge, according to Hans Dekos and others who look at the timing this way, is from birth to midlife. So it's a little bit loosey goosey. So that's not a specific regimented time. The second challenge is from the middle of life. It's just in the middle of life, whatever you consider that to be. The third, or the main challenge, is felt during the entire lifetime and it's felt more strongly than the others. I just went over that. And the fourth challenge is from late midlife to the end of life. Okay, so that's more of a loose structure about how you might see it. Otherwise, if you want to be just a bit more precise, challenges are often placed in tandem with the pinnacle cycles so that they can be dealt with really, again, more concisely, precisely, so that you can, I don't know, see them more clearly and have less of that fuzziness around when and where they go, even though we all know that life is, that life does have its fuzziness, right? Even when you're looking um, at the tools of numerology, you do have to expand your scope and be more interpretive, right? I always say that numerology is a science, and yet it is also very much so an interpretive art. All right. What I will say, though, is that this is one of the few times that subtraction is used in numerology. All right, jazz hands here, because this is, get ready. So we're not adding, we are subtracting. All right, here we go. And I did say that again, and I just will say this again because often I get people who miss it and they'll ask. So wanted to make sure that you understand that, and I'll reference it again with a slide at the end of our example here. All right, using the date of birth, and the date of birth means your date of birth, or it means the date of birth of someone who you would like to find out about their pinnacle cycles, right? So the first challenge is going to be calculated this way: the month of birth minus the day of birth. The second challenge is the day of birth minus the year of birth. The third challenge, this is the tricky one. It's very similar to how we do the pinnacles again. The third challenge is the first challenge. So that first challenge, which was the month minus the day, that is the first challenge. So you subtract the first challenge from the second challenge. And then the fourth challenge is the month of birth subtracted by the year of birth. All right. You're always going to be reducing prior to this. So, for instance, well, I'll give you the example in a moment. What I do want to say, because it can be confusing, is that you can subtract a smaller number from a larger number and a larger number from a smaller number. There's no negative numbers here. You're going to do the math and take, even if the smaller number comes first, you're going to subtract it where you subtract the smaller from the larger number. I hope that makes sense. It's a little bit fuzzy, but here we're gonna give you a demo. We're gonna do a little demo here, okay? We're gonna use September 4th, 1988. So the first challenge, the month is September. That's a number 9. The day is the 4th. That's pretty easy. It's a 4. Remember, like if your day of birth is the 18th, it's 1 plus 8 equals 9. If your birth date is an 11, you're born on the 11th or the 29th, it is an 11. It's a master number and is not reduced. If you're born on the 22nd, that's a master number and is not reduced. If you're born on the 12th, that's 1 plus 2 equals 3. So just giving you that clarification. So first challenge, 9 minus 4 equals 5. The second challenge is the day is 4. The year, 1988, reduces to a number 8. 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 8, and then you reduce to an 8, and that equals 4. The third challenge is the first challenge minus the second challenge. So 5 minus 4 equals 1. And the fourth challenge is 9 minus 8. and that also equals 1. So in this example, if your birthday were September 4th, 1988, your first challenge would be a number 5. Your second challenge, number 4. The third and the main challenge is a number 1. And interestingly, it also is your fourth challenge. So I often find it's interesting to look at the patterns and to look at the repeating numbers. It would be interesting to know if this person has a 1 in their chart, right? In their as one of their core numbers, then that even makes it even more significant and revealing about what you're really working on in life. All right. So, timing. You take the life path number and you subtract it from 36. I'm going to reference again. You can do the Hans Dekos sort of, midlife, beginning of life, end of life, a little bit more of that loose um, brush stroke, or you can get more specific if that feels better to you. And this is how you will do that. Take the life path number, subtract it from 36. And then you're going to continue to add the number 9 to each increment. All right. I know this sounds absolutely confusing right this very moment, and let's walk through it so that it will become very simple. So again, we're continuing with September 4th, 1988 as our example. In this instance, we need to know the life path number. So September 4th, 1988 is a 3 life path. So it is a 3 life path, and that is the basic, that's what we really need to know is the life path to understand the timing here. So we're going to take the number 36 and we're going to subtract the life path number from the number 36, and we get number 33. So the first challenge is from birth to the age of 33. And then we're going to take the 33, because that's the number we ended up with, and we're going to add 9. So now that is 42. Therefore, the second challenge runs from the age of 33 to the age of 42. Now we're going to add another 9 to 42, because that's what we got. That's what we ended up with. And now 42 plus 9 equals 51. Therefore, that third challenge is from 42 to 51, and that is the main challenge. So that is going to be present lifelong, and yet it will also be intensified during this period of time. Now, from 51 onward is the fourth challenge, and so 51 onward is the way that works. All right, so just to lay it out right here, we are going to, that first challenge, 0 to 33, 33 to 42 is the second challenge, 42 to 51 is the third, and 51 onward for the fourth. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of a time grid here. You could take your notes, you could, push pause for a minute. You could do a screenshot if this is important to you. What I will also say, and what I'm going to observe here, is it says pinnacle time grid, not challenge cycle time grid, but it's the same thing. Okay, so the life path, also the master numbers. If your life path is an 11, a 22, or a 33, in this scenario, you just need to know that the 11 is a 2, and that the 22 is a 4, and the 33 is a 6. The master numbers really don't matter in terms of the calculation for the time period. So you can take a look and you can reference the time period if that's the way you feel about it. And then I will also say that in the notes below, in the description box, you can. I will leave the links to each of the videos and for each of. I don't know why this is so hard for me to say. So I'm going to leave the links there for each of the videos that cover the individual challenges.